The You're Gonna Love This or Not podcast contains harsh language and may not be suitable for younger listeners.
Why would you answer this call? Why would you answer this call? Why?
Hello?
Hey man, what's up?
Fuck.
Yeah.
How do you keep getting my phone number?
Well, it's a pandemic. I just call people and tell them it's an emergency.
I have got to go get my phone number, Tony.
Anyhow, this week, movie night. You in?
I mean, yeah, I was sitting on my couch in a pandemic anyway, so why not?
All right. Well, we've talked over the last few days, and you mentioned you want to see Nick Cage movies, right?
I love Nick Cage movies.
You love Nick Cage movies? That's terrific. Did you
They're
like the
my
National
favorite.
Treasure movies?
I did.
All right. Well, do we have a gift for you?
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Are we going to watch
This week.
Matchstick Men?
Nope, not Matchstick Men.
Raising Arizona?
Nope.
We going to watch Con Air?
Nope. Just remember, man, this is Summer of the Shark 2020. And as far as I know, Nick Cage has only made one really sharky movie. And we're not watching that one either.
What sharky movie did he make?
Well, he made a couple of movies you may have heard of called National Treasure.
Yeah?
This has the same director.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on, man. It's Summer of the Shark 2020 Part 2. Are you in or are you not?
I guess.
That's right, you've got nothing better to do. We'll see you there.
I really don't.
In this month's episode of You're Gonna Love This or Not, the group is still social distancing, but Matt still has ways to sucker Josh into a virtual SFP to watch movies. This time, they're continuing Matt's Summer of the Shark with 2018's The Meg, where a group of scientists exploring the Marianas Trench encounter the largest marine predator that has ever existed, the Megalodon. Will Josh enjoy his serving of Jason Statham's, or will he wish this was still in development hell at Disney? Let's listen to the trailer and then find out.
What's that?
There's a monster outside.
What you people discovered is bigger than we ever thought possible.
How big is that thing?
It was the largest shark that ever existed.
A living fossil.
Thought to have been extinct for over 2 million years. Wrong.
My God. It's a megalodon. He's kidding, right? That thing's out there. We need to find it and kill it.
Why don't you just put a tracker on it? Did you guys ever watch Shark Week?
He looks heroic, but he's kind of got a negative attitude. Chew on this, you ugly.
Matt, you son of a bitch.
Oh, come on, man. At least it was entertaining.
I'm not sure that entertaining is the word that I would use for this movie.
You got to watch Jason Statham be the best Jason Statham.
No, the best Jason Statham is the Transporter movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Sometimes
He
I
drives
think
around cool cars, and then he kills people who are trying to hurt kids. I mean, that's the best Jason Statham.
Well, I disagree. And just because I need somebody else on my side again, we're going to bring back in Mike Wycliffe from the Comic Carnival podcast and Our Real Lives. One of the best guys there is.
And Our Real Lives. I like that.
Well, yeah.
Because we still have real lives.
He keeps coming back because I make him.
Except we trick him into it. We're like, hey, Mike, you want to watch a movie with us? And then we're going to need somebody to count us down. And then we're like,
exactly.
Gotcha.
Except I actually like these movies.
Yeah. They're fun. Fun is what it's all about.
I don't know if fun is what it's all about. But, okay.
So what's not to like about this movie, then?
It's just basically, it's like a ripoff of Deep Blue Sea.
Okay.
With a bigger shark.
Well, but Deep Blue Sea, weren't they genetically engineered sharks?
Yeah, they were smart sharks.
But they weren't as big as this shark. So there's similarities, but also differences. It's just every shark movie is the same. I mean, there's no real original plot. All they do is make the shark bigger or smarter.
Yeah, they just remake Jaws over and over and over again.
They're just like, oh, there's a giant shark killing people. How are we going to stop it? At least in this movie, though, they kept getting bigger boats. So they did learn from their mistakes.
That's true, but they also kept getting bigger sharks.
Well, that is also true. But yeah, I don't. It's just I don't get why we keep watching shitty shark movies.
Because it is Summer of the Shark 2020. Echo, echo, echo.
Oh my god.
So how did it become Summer of the Shark 2020?
Because I'm trying to do themes this year, do 3 or 4 movies in a row.
Ah.
Because Matt likes to torture me with monotony.
Well, also because, what the fuck else have I got to do? I'm sitting at home all day, every day.
We could watch like actual good movies.
We did.
Oh my god, that would be great. But no.
Survey says...
Wow.
Tony got a soundboard.
Tony has sound effects now.
Fun thing right now about me being on the podcast with you guys is that I'm not producing, as I say that in big air quotes, which means Tony has to produce before Liz actually does the editing. And then that happens.
Yep.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Hey, Matt, I do have a thought for later on in the year, though. We need to find an evil doll movie right around Halloween, and you need to make Tony be on the show.
Oh, man. That's really, really tempting.
But how many... I mean, the thing is with evil doll movies, they're all going to rip off of Chucky. So, unless we watch the original Chucky, I mean, it's just not worth it. I mean, what are we going to watch, Annabelle? I mean, come on.
I'm pretty sure they're all ripoffs of Talking Tina.
Talkie Tina loves you.
I don't want to watch any horror movie that like tries to be serious at all. Like, if we're going to watch a horror movie, we need to watch another horror movie like Spookies that's just terrible and knows it. Like,
yeah,
because horror movies are just so annoying to me because it's like they're so easy to solve.
Well, eventually we'll bust out the Chronicles of Nilbog, I'm sure, and you'll have some fun with those.
And also, eventually, we'll come back around to talking about The Meg, the 2018
The Meg.
The Meg,
the movie we were actually supposed to talk about.
Yeah, this giant shark movie that we watched that was a giant flop.
It was not a giant flop, actually.
This was a huge hit. Huge. It was profitable in the U.S., but internationally, it did bank.
And
yeah, I was making a pun, like the end of the movie where the shark just flops after he. Yeah.
I put out a tweet earlier that we were watching this evening, and my timeline lit up with people like, "Oh, I love that movie. Oh, I need to watch that movie. Oh, I hear good things about that movie." Everybody seems to have a weirdly positive feeling towards this movie, and it just makes me happy.
Well, it's not a great movie,
but it's a fun movie.
It's
fun.
Jason Statham fighting a shark. I mean, why would people not want to see that?
Although I will say,
it's like expectations versus reality, though.
Jason Statham trying to be a comedic actor is funny as hell, but not in the way I think he intends. Because
it's almost ironically funny because like he's trying so hard to be funny, yet the things he's saying are not funny. It's kind of like Raymond Holt on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where he just says things and like they end up being funny because of how he says them.
It might be closer to Boyle, honestly.
Oh, Boyle's just hilarious.
All right. Well, one of the things I have written down is pretty much that exactly. Because every time Statham in this movie tells a joke when he's not in mortal danger, or if he's flirting, or if he's talking to anyone, in this movie, he does it, I don't know, 1,000 times. He smiles like with the weirdest tooth shit-eating grin.
I just made a funny.
Yeah, pretty much. He's trying to be charming.
I just realized what he reminds me of. It's
What?
Splinter in the Turtles movie, the Ninja Turtles movie.
That
I
is
made
it.
Funny.
Yeah. Like he does that smile that's like you're supposed to laugh now. It's like signaling a laugh track. Like
Yeah.
someone should remake this movie and insert the most obnoxious laugh track ever every time Jason Statham tells a joke. I would watch that
Somebody should make a supercut of all the times he does that smile and just eke out a tiny little fart noise
movie.
every time he does it.
Yeah. I think Matt's just saying things to see if Tony has a sound effect for it.
No, because I do not want to hear Tony eke out a fart.
I mean, let's face it. We've all heard Tony eke out a fart.
Yeah. It happens.
Stop buying cheap Jack in the Box tacos.
The shitty tacos are life, man. Shitty tacos.
I haven't had those in forever.
Well, it's because we haven't been over there in forever.
Your colon
right.
thanks you.
Maybe someday, guys, we'll all get to see each other again.
Hey, we got to see each other again for a minute because we were all on the video.
That's true. We were on
So
Zoom.
we saw each other's faces.
Except me, because I don't have a camera
Zoom,
turned
zoom.
on because I'm paranoid.
Why are you paranoid? It's
I
just
don't
us.
know. I've put a lot of effort in not having my image floating around the internet.
What am I gonna do? Screen cap your image and float around the internet?
Yes.
I wouldn't do that to you. I don't like my picture taken. That's like a serious violation of privacy. I mean, I'm a
there's
dick.
the reason why I don't have many wedding pictures up is because he was the best man. He's up there by me. So
I stood far enough away. I was social distancing, damn it.
in 2018.
Social distancing before it was cool.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Well, back to the Meg. Okay. So what's going on? They have a layer of cold water trapping in a whole ecosystem that has apparently been there for at least 2 million years.
And they're how far down? 6 miles?
11,000
Something
meters.
like that.
But that's not how the movie starts. So we encounter the Meg before the expedition.
Oh, that's right.
So
I forgot.
we encounter the Meg when Jason Statham has to do a rescue mission down to save some people who crashed, but then he has to leave a bunch of people behind because if he doesn't, then everybody dies. And then this doctor guy gets really mad at him and says he's got pressure craziness or something, pressure madness. And then
psychosis.
And then it shoots this new scene of this new place where Rainn Wilson is founding this lab. I guess he sold enough beats in order to have enough money to be able to buy a lab. And so we got all new scientists and all new people. And we get to see Hiro Nakamura once again, which we all love him. And so that's when we pick up the whole let's go 11,000 meters down and discover a new ecosystem because that's what we do with billions of dollars.
Yeah, shenanigans go on down there. The little sub they're on gets attacked.
Don't forget the goings on.
They have to call in Jason Statham.
Yeah, so they send out this rover, and the rover gets attacked first, and they're like, oh, that's cool. The rover gets attacked. And then they send a sub in as well, and then the sub gets attacked. And then it's just laying dead on the floor of the ocean. And in the description it says the Mariana Trench, which I don't think it was the Mariana Trench, but
I mean,
whatever.
it could have been.
I have no idea. If they mentioned it, I didn't catch it, but I also took a lot of, like go get popcorn breaks.
Well, the description of the movie, it's what it says.
Oh, okay. So yeah. And then when they escape, when Jason Statham rescues them, something up comes with them. Jesus.
Yeah. So so then Jason Statham rescues everybody, which is great, because that's what he's supposed to do.
And by the way, of course, his ex-wife is among them.
Well, yeah, of course. Then everybody's like happy as a lark, except for the fact that they lost Hiro Nakamura in the process of everything. So he
Yeah.
sacrificed himself to save the bigger guy, and in the process, like drops a note in his pocket that he's written out for his wife, and then so Hiro dies, and so we lose Hiro like 30 minutes into the movie.
This movie is full of people trying to make a huge, big, dramatic sacrifice.
Tons of noble sacrifices in this movie,
Mhm.
just ridiculous. And so, yeah. And I was wrong at one point. I was like, how many noble sacrifices are going to happen? I'm like, well, at least one more. And then there was like 6 more noble sacrifices in one fight scene. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
It's like everybody just wants to die for the other person. It's like at some point you would realize that maybe you should take a different approach to this. And at one point they had a decent approach, but then they failed.
Yeah, I will say this movie is one terrible plan after another.
Yeah, but it's not so much that the plans are terrible, they're executed terribly.
No, I think these plans are all bad to begin with.
I mean, dropping depth charges from a helicopter onto a shark, that's a pretty good plan because like you're far enough up to where he probably can't eat you and you're safe.
It's a
But
great
they're
plan
basically
unless you miss.
Homemade depth charges.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're homemade depth charges, but they're still depth charges and they're pretty effective in general, unless you bomb a whale instead. So anyway, so let's get back to the plot point here. So that they get everybody out, they rescue everybody except for Hiro. He's dead, sad face. And so then they're back at this base. What was it, Nova 1 or something? I forget what they called it.
Something like that.
Something like that. It doesn't really matter. And so they're all sitting in this boardroom talking about all this stuff, and everybody's like, "Yeah, we need to get out of here." And then of course the rich eccentric billionaire, played by Rainn Wilson, is like, "No, we have to go find this thing and kill it." And everybody's like, "Are you crazy?" And then Jason Statham does this really lame speech that has like zero effect on the movie
they
whatsoever.
rally the troops like 4 or 5 times in this movie. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then Jason Statham's like, "No, if you do this, you're gonna die." And we saw what happens when man versus shark. It wasn't a fight; it was a slaughter, or some stupid cheesy line that he said. And then all of a sudden, like the base gets rattled by something, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, his little 8-year-old daughter!" Like somehow they know.
Just psychic mother automatically assumes her daughter has something to do with it.
Well, let's face it. If there's an 8-year-old loose in someplace expensive, they probably have something to do with what's going on.
Yeah. She was a really cool 8-year-old, though. Let's point out how cool.
She was the wise child.
She was way smarter than what she should have been at that age.
We've got more to talk about her later. But the scene where she's in the big glass window area, the observation area, and the shark is swimming up toward her, and then it stops at the window.
Like Finding Nemo style.
Yeah, like it's insane. Like it just stops there and looks at her.
Maybe she can talk to the shark.
I mean, her mom can talk to whales, so that would make sense.
Oh, does she have a psychic connection with the shark?
Maybe she does. Maybe it's like in Runaways. Like in Runaways, when she has that girl has the psychic connection with that dinosaur, and like in Runaways, you don't know.
She's like a I lost it. Never mind. Oh,
a shark
like one of the 2 little girls for Mothra.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
know Mothra,
yeah.
So.
Are you saying that because she's Asian?
No, I'm saying it because it's a small child talking to a giant creature.
Is Mothra the Godzilla thing? Or is that Mothra?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Mothra, yes.
Okay.
Travels around with a couple of tiny twins.
Yeah. So then we find out the shark has somehow made it through the freezing chasm, or freezing cloud, they called it. They called it cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like somehow the shark escaped and is now after them all.
Totally scientifically possible.
Sharks do. Because sharks wouldn't just stay below and eat what they've been eating for thousands of years. They would chase after a few humans.
Yeah, and then, they would keep chasing the humans even though there's plenty of other stuff around.
Also, if it's adapted to life underneath a permanent layer of ice, which means it's probably really cold down there, wouldn't the first thing it did when it got up into warmer waters is,
it's volcanic underneath, so it's warm water under there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't catch that part.
Layer of cold water separating the two.
I didn't catch that part.
Yeah. So it's actually probably warmer underneath there than it was.
So it was freezing then.
Yeah. So
maybe that's why I kept having to eat everybody. burning through calories.
Maybe. But
Yeah, yeah.
cold-blooded animals in general, though, would not do well in colder waters. They'd get less active, I think.
That's one of the many, many things that don't make sense about this shark.
What are you talking about? Things that don't make sense. This whole movie made sense. Completely scientifically accurate.
Well, the shark shrinks and grows depending on the scene.
Well, there were 2 sharks.
Well, yeah, but the second shark also shrinks and grows depending on where.
Maybe there were 3 sharks.
That's possible. I wouldn't put it past them.
They're trying to set us up for a sequel. Meg
I
2,
know they're setting us up for a
Return of the
sequel.
Family Guy.
I have to admit, when this first started, I did have a joke with myself as to how many times I was going to yell out, "Shut up, Meg."
Yeah, no. It didn't roar, though. So we didn't have any roaring sharks this time.
That is true.
We found the secret sound effect.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Tony.
I was wondering what it would take to get there. I do like the roaring sound effect. I'm okay with this. So,
but the shark in this movie doesn't roar at all. It's nice and silent, like a shark.
Should be, yeah. I'm a little disappointed in roar because I think it would have a really cool roar. Like it would be like a roar of the ages, like the hybrid dinosaur they made in Jurassic Park that just roared so loud that you could hear it from miles away.
Say this is the first shark movie we've seen on the podcast that the shark doesn't roar. So
I know. Yeah. That's it's bonus points for the director, I guess.
See what else we got going on. They catch it. They
do. So they catch a shark. They're like, "Yeah, we got a shark." But then, like, we realize we're only about halfway through the movie. So what else could possibly be going on now?
And also,
they caught the shark.
They were definitely sad about catching the shark. Most of them.
We got a lecture. I forgot because they came across the wreckage of one of the ships that the shark had taken down, and there were finless sharks in there, and we got a wise lecture about what a tragedy shark finning was. That's completely out of place in this movie, but it just,
you got the wise old Asian just doing that stuff.
The trope.
It's just crazy.
Yes, he has more wisdom than anyone.
Yeah.
My favorite though was his disappointment when he just goes, "All for a bowl of soup."
Yeah, and then his speech about killing the shark that was killing people. Like, why are you really mourning a shark that's going to kill millions of people? Because it's a giant shark that's unstoppable.
Because he's that character.
So
I liked it when he said, "Let them fight."
So.
Let them fight.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That was a different character, different actor.
We got the shark. Yay, we got the shark. He's dead. Wise old man's like, "Oh, we shouldn't have killed the shark because that's what humans do," or something. And then all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere, a much gianter shark comes out and eats that shark.
If there's one thing that episode 1 taught me, it's that there's always a bigger fish.
Always.
Oh, gosh. And that's the one thing episode 1 taught anybody.
So, yeah. So then this gianter shark, which isn't a word, but I don't care, I'm using it anyways, eats the smaller shark. I guess he wanted to take it home.
Yeah, the whole shark cannibalism thing was weird. I mean, I'm assuming it's something that actually happens.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
Well, sharks would eat other wounded sharks. I mean, they don't care what they're eating as long as they're eating. That's why they
But sharks aren't typically scavengers.
Yeah, they are.
They kill other things. That's what they do.
They'll eat anything.
Yeah, I don't know that much about sharks. I'm not a Shark Week guy, so.
Really? Because I'm pretty sure in the last episode. Never mind.
What? What about the last episode?
The last episode, you tried to tell us you were a marine biologist.
I might have said words like that. That sounds like something I would say.
I might have said words like that.
This is automatically my favorite episode.
That sounds like outrageous things that I would say. I mean, I've been known to say outrageous things on this podcast.
I believe at different points in this podcast, you have been a pastry chef.
I actually am a pretty good baker, so that's actually kind of a true story.
pretty sure in one episode you told us you were a pilot.
I probably am a pilot.
Oh
I'm
my
always
God.
flying high. So that was not a drug reference for the record. Just like being upbeat. That's what that was for. Anyways. Yeah. This movie was terrible. It's really bad.
You're saying that because you don't remember where you were in describing the plot.
Oh no, I remember. This movie keeps anyway. So the bigger shark comes out and eats the smaller shark, and then they have to hunt for this whole new shark. And like their genius idea was to swim out with Jason Statham and shoot a tracker at it so they could find it.
Because,
I mean,
they couldn't do it from the boat.
Granted, that thing could truck along.
So he had to swim out into the middle of the ocean, make sure he's not making too much motion because then the shark would find him, of course. That's what sharks do because they have really cool receptors that are organs that are built into their nose that sense like temperature change and like motion and stuff. So, yeah, which was neat. So Jason Statham has to call Jason Statham on this shark and shoot it, and then he gets away, of course, because he's Jason Statham. Let's be honest. And yeah, so then that keeps happening and stuff keeps happening. They have to hunt down this shark, and so then the shark takes out the boat, of course, and they have to take these little dinghies back to their lab.
I don't want to hear about your
But the
dinghy.
shark's chasing after them, and so Rainn Wilson calls in a helicopter to shoot at the shark with a rifle. And Ruby Rose is like, "Do you really think it's going to hurt the shark?" Kind of what
I
happened.
just love how their plan for all of this is, hey, somebody jump in the water with the giant shark.
I know. Or just to like shoot at it with guns that are definitely not going to pierce the hide of a shark.
Let's face it. If they go up on land, the movie is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how this movie should have gone is they should have been like, oh no, a megalodon followed us out and it's attacking other boats. We should call somebody and get the fuck out of here.
Or let's call like a destroyer or something, some large naval ship that can actually do damage to this thing.
No, you don't call a boat, you call planes.
Or whatever you call. I mean, you can go Pacific Rim on this, or you can go Battleship on this. I don't really care what happens.
Call in an aircraft carrier, and you can both be happy.
There,
Shark Busters.
You just need to like get it to the surface and just launch things at it. But rockets don't really work. Like I had this discussion about something else earlier that I posted about how they always shoot these huge rockets at things, but it can't pierce the hide, so it just bounces off. So you have to have like a sabot round to go through it. It almost has to be a ship.
I mean, they were still tearing into that thing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he does. We won't get there yet, but yeah. So there's just so much about this movie that it's like just failed plan after failed plan. It's like not just one major disaster and then a resolution. It's like
after two really, really bad plans, you'd think they'd go, maybe we're bad at planning.
I don't know. I live in America in 2020, so bad disasters don't affect anything.
I mean, he does have a point.
It keeps being train wreck after train wreck after train wreck. So, I mean, we had vampire eels recently. I mean, some squirrel in Colorado has Ebola. I mean, come on. Or bubonic plague is what it was. So, anyways, they get to hunt down the issue shark. I'm like describing this whole plot way more than I should be.
Oh, I'm enjoying it.
I know. It's so much different than the normal. So, yeah.
The weird thing is, you're describing it as if you actually really liked this movie.
I didn't at all, though. That's the sad part. It's just so ridiculous. It's like I have to talk about it. Plus, I don't really get to have conversations with people anymore. So that's why I'm enjoying being with you guys. That's where the joy is coming from. So I was waiting for it all react there. I thought Tony has.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we supposed to show genuine emotion?
Oh wow! Wow!
Oh,
that was
Josh.
just mean.
I'm not trying to be mean.
Tony does need an audience awe right there.
So,
or maybe like the Scrubs music, that
the sad walk. Oh God, the cursed idol. Anyhow,
so yeah, so they had to hunt down this new shark. So basically, they go recap and get together, and they get an even bigger ship now to track down this shark. And their plan is to send the shark biologist out in this capsule that is apparently unbreakable to inject it with this poison that will kill it. That's how they killed the first one.
Yep.
Yeah. So then the second one, they had to go a different plan. I don't remember.
We just watched it.
I know. But now I'm losing track of where I was. I kept thinking about other stuff. Anyways. Yeah.
Well, you're talking about when they're at the beach?
Oh, yeah. So that's what it is. So then they have to go to chase down this shark because it's taken
Man,
off.
talk about
They're like,
throwing
we
a
gotta chase down this
lifeline.
shark. Yeah. I know. I'd forgotten some things, man. I
trying to make
may
up for
have
being mean.
been, yeah.
What is in that
So
vape pen, dude?
I don't know. Just tobacco. I'm like really tired, guys. I've been sleeping much, so my brain's kind of fried right now. But I'm enjoying talking to you
Welcome
guys.
to the
So
last 4 months of my life.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know. I sleep on average 4 hours a night, but it's been worse the last couple of days. And so they have to chase down this shark, basically. So it's a high-speed chase with a boat versus a shark. And the shark gets to the beach, and the shark starts killing these people, and it's terrible. And like then you see a dog, and then you think the dog gets eaten, and it's really super sad because like then I'm afraid that Keanu Reeves is gonna show up and just start shooting this thing because that's what happens when you kill dogs. Keanu Reeves shows up, which he should.
I mean, that would have made the movie better.
To be honest, so much better. If Keanu Reeves would have come in and just John Wicked this shark, I'd have been like best movie ever.
As we are recording this, there's a news story that broke tonight where Charlize Theron is talking about how she would love to do a martial arts movie with Keanu Reeves, and the entire internet's going, "Yes, please."
I could go for that. Yeah.
Right. So yes, Keanu Reeves is always makes every movie better, and so does Charlize Theron.
Keanu Reeves is a national treasure. Okay, he really is. So, anyways, they're chasing down this shark. And the shark goes to this beach with all these people, and they're like, "What is that place?" "Oh, I don't know. There's like millions of people around the largest beach, whatever."
Because of course, that's where the first place the shark's going to go is to the shallower water.
Yeah, because this giant shark that definitely can't swim in shallow water, that's where he's going to go. And so then there's also this little boy who's cute. He kept begging to go in the water, and his mom's like, "No, it's too dangerous."
No, he was not begging. He was being a dick.
He was being defiantly an asshole.
He was being an American child.
He was. He was being like a spoiled little rich kid. So finally he gets to go out in the water, and he's out in the water, and he's so happy. And then this giant shark comes up. And like just moments before the shark eats this little boy, which I don't want him to get eaten because he's still a little boy, and he shouldn't get eaten. I don't want Charlie and Charlie Factory, this guy. And then like they play this whale music, which Mike totally had that called out. He foreshadowed for us that the whale music was somehow going to come into effect. And the shark, like, on a dime, turns 90 degrees to chase after this whale sound because the hundreds of bodies in front of him were not enough food for him. He's going to chase after a whale because that's what they hunt, apparently. And so it goes after, and then they're in these two little submarines that are, like, very agile and have torpedoes on them because their decision now is to torpedo this thing. Because earlier in the movie, we talked about how his ex-wife made a homemade torpedo to take down a whaling ship. So it's kind of like a callback to that. So they have these torpedoes now, and they're like chasing down the shark and trying to outmaneuver it. But then like Jason Statham's torpedo malfunctions, and so it's so sad because like he can't shoot a torpedo at it. So what are they gonna do now? And then of course, Jason Statham goes full Jason Statham. He had wrecked his ship earlier, and he left a sharp edge on it. So he dives underneath the shark and slices the whole belly open. And that doesn't kill it, of course, because why would that kill it? We don't get to kill full Jason Statham. That kills it. So then, like, the shark comes after him and starts biting down on his ship. And it's terrible, and it's about to crush the ship. And at the very last moment, he escapes with a harpoon in his hand. Somehow, that he had in his ship, because you never know. And then he swims out, and he stabs it into the eye, and then drills it into the brain. And that's what finally kills it.
He doesn't just stab it in the eye, man. He takes it, and he pushes, what, an 8-foot long piece of metal?
Yeah,
like
this ship was no longer than 6 feet, and somehow had an 8-foot rod inside of it.
And he has enough force on this shark to be able to push this whole thing in.
And he does this while they're in midair. Like the shark breaches the water, jumps into the air in a spectacular fashion, and he's just like, slam down in there. I'm going to kill you with this giant metal rod that I somehow just magically had inside my ship because, you know, that's how that works. And then the shark like falls down the ground, and then all of a sudden you see a wave of sharks. Like there's like thousands of sharks that just show up out in the middle of nowhere that were not at all feeding any of the people on the beach.
Instantly.
Yeah,
Instantly.
instantly, thousands of sharks show up, and
They do
none of
that
them even,
earlier in the movie too.
none of them even looked Jason Statham. They're just like, nope, gonna go eat that giant Meg.
Well, he wasn't
because
actively
that's what we
bleeding,
do.
so I mean, you know.
Yeah, but he was there.
Oh, I
he
hear
could have
you.
just been a big chunk of Meg, but whatever.
Yeah, and then like Jason Statham gets to the surface, and he's like, "How am I gonna get back to the big boat?" And then of course his new girlfriend, which we didn't even discuss, the awkward eye waggle from the little
Oh
girl.
yeah,
We'll get to that here in a
little
minute.
girl.
And so, like, the part of the submarine that he decides to grab is the propeller, because why wouldn't you grab the propeller with your hand when there's sharks around? But somehow it keeps his hand. Yeah. And then they go back to ship, and everything. Everybody lives happily ever after. For the record, the dog
That's
was
right.
completely okay.
The dog shows
So
back
the
up.
dog did not die. So that's why John Wick didn't show up.
Can I just say that from
So
now
happy
on,
story there.
I think that Josh doing his Luis from Ant-Man impression on the theme of the movie needs to be part of the show.
Yeah, no, I was like, if he's going to recap this, he can do it every time. That's great.
This movie. It's so bad.
I don't know. I define bad. Like, I don't know why.
It's not good. Like, it's just, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I didn't enjoy it. It was
I have to
so
tell you, buddy,
ridiculous.
every time you've
you
talked
had a
about
bad time watching
the plot of the movie, you sound like you're having so much fun.
I'm just having fun because I'm with you guys, honestly.
I hear a glow in your voice. It's disturbing.
I don't know. It's just, it's such a shitty, like, action movie that's based with a shark. It's like, I don't know. It's like if I was 8 years old, this is the kind of movie that I'd want to see. I want to see Jason Statham fight a shark, because why wouldn't I? I'm 8 years old. But like at 38, I'm so tired of this concept. But I guess
so. Here's
maybe
a question:
it starts a little joy
what
in
would have
me,
made
but
this movie better for you?
Yeah, what could they have done?
Better dialogue definitely would have helped.
Oh yeah, that would have helped.
Less ridiculousness on how they're going after the shark. Better planning in general of how to attack the shark. I mean, we've seen enough shark movies in the world. Like, there's no way that these people have never watched a shark movie before. I mean, it just feels
no. There's so much Jaws in this movie. Like the part where they catch the shark to begin with, they throw the shark cage in, the shark cage gets it. Like, it's almost beat for beat the final confrontation.
I was looking for a
in
USS
Jaws.
Indianapolis speech.
Yeah, we got a
fair.
few motivational ones, I guess, but nothing about past tragedy. Oh, except for Heller yelling at Jonas about it.
Yeah.
Which Heller is such a dick in this movie for no reason. I don't understand it. He's a doctor, and if he thinks the guy has some sort of pressure psychosis or whatever, like, why isn't he trying to help him instead of just yelling at him and calling him a coward?
But is he a doctor? Because I feel like the only thing he knows how to do is take blood pressure.
That's what he does like 6 times in this movie.
Like, yeah.
Whenever anybody wakes up, he's taking their blood pressure.
Yeah, Jason Statham's new romantic interest like drowns somehow, and then saved.
Like I said, the only thing I can come up with is that maybe it has something to do with, blood gas and the bends. But I am also obsessed with the idea of rapidly rising up through the ocean and getting the bends. So,
Jaws 2 would be your thing, man.
I don't know if bends can be tested through blood
I don't
pressure
know.
cuffs, though.
Do I sound like a doctor?
I don't know with some of the gadgets in this movie. It might be with that one. You sound like more of a doctor than freaking
Every
Heller.
time you say his name, I keep thinking about Tom Waits in Mystery Men. Yeah,
Mystery Men.
Say it back, Heller.
Yeah, Heller.
Mystery Men is such a great movie, by the way.
I do enjoy it. We've never watched that one here. Guess we never will. It's too fun.
Yeah, that movie's way too good. This podcast.
All right. Well, this movie was not a huge flop. Grossed $145 million in the US, $385 million overseas, made $530 million.
That is respectable.
Which, more than $500 million for a movie like this is huge.
Now,
yeah. Not a hit with.
There are obviously some points.
Though.
Like there's a big deal about the idea of China in particular getting their money into movies by saying, we will give you a ton of money if you make sure that you shoot some of your movie here. It seems like that is exactly what happened in this movie.
That's what happened in this movie. That is exactly what happened in this movie.
But they made the
Not
Chinese
really.
really bad.
No,
Like shark finning,
no.
like
You've
shark
got-
finning
got-
stuff. I
you've
think
got a whole-
Tony is raising his hand.
Tony is raising his hand?
Yeah.
Yes, for every now and then I like to do a fact check because, well, I want to stop listening to you guys. And I just looked up, and I guess by placing a large blood pressure cuff over the area of pain and inflating it to 150 to 250 whatever mmHg is in the patient with nitrogen bubbling in the joint or tendons, this increase can force some of the nitrogen back into the solution, resulting in a temporary decrease in pain.
So what you're saying is they can cure the bends partially with a blood pressure cuff. That's what you're saying.
Well, that's basically what the Benz machine is, a large blood pressure cuff.
According to Midlands Diving Chamber.co.uk.
So I was right. Sort of.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Wow,
kind of.
that's nuts.
But I don't think she would have the bends from that short.
Well,
of it.
and
she
like
wasn't
Matt
that deep
pointed
in
out,
dive.
it was a pressurized ship, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spaceship?
Yeah. It looked like something from like 40,000 Leagues Under the Sea or something.
Yeah, the mini subs in this.
They're
like
really well
fucking
designed.
fighter jets. For like
Those actually exist, by the way.
no, not ones that can go like 40 miles an hour underwater and then, dive down.
I don't know. I really like that design though. I like the sphere that actually rotates within the within the machine.
Yes.
I think that was
that's pretty cool.
A really cool looking design.
They can travel 25 to 30 knots while submerged.
Well, yeah, but these are like spaceships the way they're designed. Like
Yeah.
they can go so fast and then dive so deep, and they're so maneuverable against all the laws of physics. But that's okay because the shark follows right along with them.
So these things kind of exist. Like these personal submarines, they kind of exist. I'm looking them up right now on Google. But also, it's looking up subs like delicious subs.
Oh man, I haven't had a sub in so long.
Yeah. So
I can't wait for
You
March
live-
to be over.
and you, hey buddy, I need to tell you something. It's July 14th.
Oh, please, for the love of God, Liz, if you're listening, break his fingers.
Liz is probably
she'll
in
be
bed by
editing
now.
later.
It's a school night.
I'm sure she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just remember, Liz, if you
So-
don't take care of
well,
it, he's going to
all
come
right.
after Social Sci-Fi next.
Exactly.
He would never. He would never dare mess with her like that. He knows better.
And say he'll get.
She knows where he sleeps.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not isolated from her.
I know where you live, and I've seen where you sleep, and your mothers will
You can put
cry.
a pillow over my face at night, so I'm messing with you.
All right. Well, Rotten Tomatoes, 46% critics. Not the worst
Yeah.
I've seen. It's not. I mean, it's bad,
Higher
but
than
it's
many
not
Nicolas Cage
terrible.
movies.
And again, surprisingly, this gets a
Hey,
lower
really?
audience score.
Everybody I've
This
talked
only
to
gets a
about it tonight
42%, yeah.
is super good feelings about it. And like I said, I enjoyed the crap out of it.
I say I've not talked to one person that didn't like it. So
It gets a 5.7 on IMDb though.
yeah, 5.7. Letterboxd 2.4. It's right down the middle, both of those. Big box office gross. You know what that means.
They made a lot of money.
Sequel.
Oh, is it?
It's in pre-production
Well, this
already.
is something we haven't talked about. Is that this
Yep.
is based on part of a series of novels.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. It was based on the initial novel Meg, a novel of deep terror by Steve Alton. And he wrote 6 more books about the Meg and has an 8th one coming out. So
So
this is
which
a
one
lot of,
is the voodoo
lot
curse?
Of, I believe that's Meg the Revenge. Yeah, Steve Alton has a newsletter, which he sends out
I was
from
going to
his
say,
AOL
I don't remember
email
much
account.
about this guy, but I seem to remember him being a very tinfoil hat guy.
Yeah, he seems that way. Yeah, and he has
In my defense, I did not realize I was going to be
fans.
on the show tonight, and did not remember what movie we were watching until about half an hour before, and so I did no looking up. So this is all just me trying desperately to remember things that people have told me, because it's the first time I've seen the movie.
No, you're doing great. Yeah, because I've got all this stuff in front of me because I looked all this stuff up days ago. Let's see here. Oh, the book came out in 1997. Was immediately snatched up by Disney to make as a
Because when I
Hollywood
think
Pictures
giant
movie.
sharks, I think Disney.
They couldn't get a good script. Yeah, would have made the submarine voyage a lot more fun.
So it's apparently the offspring of the Meg, which is true to the source material of the books. The Meg has
Okay. Yeah, well, it's the only way you can get sequels if you kill off your big shark. But Disney couldn't get it put together, so the rights reverted back to the author. New Line tried to make it in 2005. They had Jan de Bont on board as director. Guillermo del Toro on board to produce.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a little bit of studio turnover, and it got canceled because of budget constraints. In 2015, it was announced again that Eli Roth was going to direct.
I don't know if I like the idea of Eli Roth doing a shark movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it would have been a lot more horror and a lot more gross.
I can't. I mean, I've seen plenty of his stuff, and I can't see him doing that. I
can't see what he would have made.
I can't see him doing that well. Let's put it that way. It's not. He might be very good at it, but it does not feel like his wheelhouse.
Yeah, so little side note, the Mariana Trench actually has 396 Google reviews and only has 4.3 stars.
Oh, well, it's
I mean,
not
I
fun,
wouldn't
I'm
want
sure.
to go down there. I mean, maybe if I wanted to see those aliens from the Abyss, but
yeah. Well, Eli Roth got canned in 2016. Creative differences, of course. Replaced with John Turteltaub, and he took it through to the end.
See, that actually makes a lot of sense, because Turteltaub, if you look at some of the other movies that he's done that we've already talked about, he seems like a very safe, studio-friendly director.
Yeah, and he'd worked with Disney and made action movies for Disney.
If you think about making Turteltaub be the director, that kind of feels in the same wheelhouse as replacing the directors of Solo with Ron Howard. Yes.
Was it Lord Miller? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I could remember Miller. I couldn't remember Lord for some reason. It's the heathen in me, I guess.
Yeah.
No,
Lord
two guys.
Miller.
One of them's last name is Lord.
Two different dudes.
Last name is Miller.
Okay. But they go by Lord Miller. Not. How pretentious.
Yeah. I can't remember their first names, so it's just Lord and Miller.
Pete. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
There we go. Thanks. All right. Well, over the years, there's been a ton of scripts written for this. None of them were deemed worthy before this one, which is shocking to me. In one of the screenplays, the shark had wings. I would kill to see that one. And one of the versions that was written for the Jan de Bont Guillermo del Toro one was deemed unsatisfactory because it was too much like Moby Dick. It was written by Shane Salerno, who wrote Armageddon and Ghost Rider. And again, we come back around to Nick Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
So my question is, how is Nick Cage not in this movie?
I don't know.
He was probably already filming something.
I kept expecting him to show up. Yeah, or at least 4 other movies at the same time.
Yeah, that's probably
I kept waiting for him to do a signature hand thing, like come out and be like, what we need to do is kill the shark. Yeah.
Well, we already talked about Jason Statham. People know him.
So
He's
Shaw. Talk about the creepiness, the awkwardness of a little girl trying to get her mother.
Oh, yeah. The little girl trying.
She comes up to Jason Statham and is like, she really likes you, and then does the eye waggle.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea when he talks about hooking up with her
mom. And then later on, he does the eye waggle back to her, and I'm just like, so he's telling her he's gonna hook up with her mom?
She desperately wants him to bang her mom.
Yeah, because he won't leave her for a Pilates instructor.
And this is all being brought up the day that her grandfather died.
I know. Like, her grandfather dies, and they're just like, okay, well, mom needs to get laid now.
Killed in a giant shark attack, and yeah, all she wants is mama to get some.
Hey, you know what?
You gotta get rid of that
Good
grief.
on that kid.
I mean,
that kid's looking out for mom.
Yeah.
That kid's looking out for mom a little too much.
Have you met mom?
We still got to talk about people in the cast. We got Jason Statham. We were talking about him. Rainn Wilson. I think he's pretty good in this for the
I
part.
love Rainn Wilson.
I don't think
He's
his
a
part's
douchebag
written
billionaire
exceptionally well.
who isn't a complete douchebag, but is mostly a douchebag.
No, it turns out at the end he's a complete douchebag, and he pays for it. But yeah, people know him as Dwight from The Office, and in his best movie ever, The Rocker.
Oh.
Oh, I thought
The Rocker.
I thought you were gonna say
that
the
movie's not
superhero Super.
Oh, Super is amazing. He's great in it. What's her name? Paige.
Yes.
Yeah, he was in Hesher too.
I
Hesher was
actually
such
saw
a
it.
great movie, by the way. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, that's all I have to say. Natalie Portman. Come on, you can't put those two in a movie and not be amazing.
I'm sure it's good. I've just not seen it.
Okay.
You should watch it. So
yeah, Ruby Rose is in this. She plays Jax, the hacker lady.
I love
People
Ruby
know
Rose
her.
so much.
Well,
she's
Batwoman.
She was in.
Was
Batwoman. She's in Pitch Perfect 3, John Wick Chapter 2. We've already talked a little bit about that. Okay. The guy that plays The Wall, which is a weird name, but we'll go with it. He's Icelandic, and his name is Olafur Dari Olafsson, which is a very fun name to say.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is he? Go ahead.
Well, I think that. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Matt.
Sorry. I wasn't going to say anything about that. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I was just about Ruby Rose.
I was just realizing where I've seen him
distracted.
before.
What were you saying?
Have you seen on Netflix? There's a new movie out there called Eurovision Song Contest: The Story of Fire Saga. He is in that.
I've not seen it yet.
It's
right?
hysterical.
Yeah, just
I love that movie. Everybody should watch it. Oh my god, is it funny?
Yeah, I've heard good things.
But he's in it. So.
Oh, also speaking of Eurovision, since they couldn't have it this year, they made like videos of everything and put it out there. And I discovered that the Russian entry for Eurovision this year is like the greatest thing ever. They're called Little Big, and you should look them up and watch their videos. They're amazing.
Gotcha, dude. He was also in Dark Crystal.
He's also in Dark Crystal.
Yeah, he's the archer.
And apparently he's in True Detective.
I like this guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he got a lot of parts.
Dr. Heller. Dr. Heller's in Longmire, plays Walt Longmire. I'm assuming that's who it's about.
People really like that show. I've never seen it.
He played Agent Jones in the original Matrix movie. And the part that I remember him most in is he's captain of the boat in Kong Skull Island.
More boats.
He should probably stay off of boats.
Giant animals, yeah. Yeah, he's not had good luck in that area.
Bad idea for him. So,
Masi Oka is in this.
Yay!
Played Hero in Heroes.
Love that TV show.
Franklin and Scrub.
Also played the medical examiner in Hawaii Five-0.
Dr. Max Bergman.
Yeah.
And my favorite person in this whole movie, and he's my favorite in every movie he's in, Cliff Curtis, who plays Mac. Mostly because he's one of the greatest actors from New Zealand.
Why is he your favorite?
But he's in everything. Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, Hiro Nakamura was also in Reno 911 for like 3 episodes.
Yeah, I remember him being on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he might be in the new season too, in a small part.
Yeah, I watched the new season. He was okay.
Yeah, it was pretty. I liked their 1917 homage. That was really good.
Yeah. I like the Space Force thing. That was pretty funny.
Anyhow, Cliff Curtis has been dozens and dozens and dozens of movies. I'm not going to go through them. The most interesting thing about him outside of his acting career is he started a small production company. I think it's called Fenoa Films. Produced a short called 2 Cars, 1 Night, which was Academy Award nominated, directed by Taika Waititi, which led to their production of Taika Waititi's first movie, Ego vs. Shark, and then Boy, which is...
So what you're saying is that he is responsible for giving the world Taika Waititi.
Pretty much.
Also, Cliff Curtis was also in a fantastic movie called Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, which is another Jason Statham movie.
Better than that.
Yeah, that's
he was
true.
in
That's true.
Sunshine.
They'd worked together
It was
before.
Sunshine is a fantastic movie.
Yeah, he's also in.
Like I said,
Fear.
he's been in so much stuff.
All right, this is the point where we're just going through his IMDb.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Tony's to stay with us. We should probably wrap this up soon because it's getting late for everybody.
I was gonna say this movie was nominated for a Golden Raspberry for worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel.
Oh my god!
Didn't win, unfortunately, and the sequel's in pre-production.
So yeah, I think we should just wrap this up now. Since that's I think that's all we got for this episode. Sad you didn't have a game this time around. You know how much I love your games. They are the best things to ever exist in my life, said with complete and total sarcasm. But I think overall this episode went pretty well. I want to thank Mike again for coming by and helping us out. We're kind of in a weird spot for everything with quarantine going on, so kind of hard to get guests to join us. So we always appreciate Mike doing his thing and helping us out. He is podcast gold.
I don't know about that.
So, I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight. The sound effects are cheesy as fuck, but that's okay. You guys know how much I love. Yeah, there they go. How much I love cheesy stuff. So I do have like 7 different types of cheese in my house.
No, he's not. He's wearing a necktie.
I know. The joke hadn't come up yet. I was waiting for it. So, anyways, as always, Matt, I love you.
Mike,
I like you guys.
Thanks again for joining us. You love us.
Thanks.
Coming from me, that's something.
Gold.
So, you know.
Yeah. Thanks to all our dedicated listeners out there.
Yeah, stay safe, stay home, wear a mask.
You don't have to wear a mask when you're at home.
Unless you want to. If that's your kink, that's your kink.
Yeah.
I mean, do what you gotta do. We don't kink shame in this show. All right. See you guys later.
All right. Love you, Josh.
Love you too, Matt.
This episode of You're Gonna Love This or Not was recorded at the SFP Studios located off beautiful Eagle Creek Reservoir in Indianapolis, Indiana. It features Matt dragging Josh down into the dark depths of his movie collection and is released monthly on the Teen Geeking family of podcasts. It is produced by Mike Wycliffe, edited by Liz Shun and Tony Troxel, and features music by Scott Holmes, who can be found on the Free Music Archive. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or the podcatcher of your choice. And please leave us a rating and review. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
I just made a funny.